Hey guys, it's Mr.Storro. We're going to be doing some drawing today. So you need a pencil or a crayon, or whatever you like to draw with, some paper. Doesn't matter, any kind of paper. And that's about it. So we're going to be working on something we may have done before, but it's going to be review, and it's always something that it's not a bad thing to review, and it's another good thing if you like to draw. The best way to learn how to draw is to draw people. Okay, because every one of us is different. It's always very challenging to draw people. I'm sure some of you have tried, and I know I've been still trying all my life to try to create an image that looks like the person I'm drawing. And it's incredibly difficult, and it's not something that I'm great at. I'm okay at it. It's something that I want to continue working on getting better. All right, so I'm still taking lessons and learning how to, because some people are really good at it and they take to it right away and are just great at portraiture. And some people like me, you have to work at it all the time. It's like anything, you're building skills. So, but one thing I do know how to do is I know how to use the Canon to my advantage. Okay, so I like to cartoon. Something I've always liked to do is I like to draw cartoons, and I like to make faces. Okay, so we're going to talk about the Canon a little bit more. Now, the Canon is not like the Canon like you shoot a gun. Okay, I made some examples here of faces that we're going to come back and work on. I use the Canon to make these faces. Now you can see that every one of them is pretty close to being the same as far as proportion wise. It's just the head shapes, and that's really what I want to get today with you guys, is work on head shapes. Because that's one of the most important things is when you're drawing somebody is to get their head shape down first. So I'm going to put a piece of paper down and I'm going to teach you and review the Canon. All right, so anytime during this video, again, watch it first and then you can pause it along the way. So if you can't keep up, you're not going to get frustrated. So just pause it and work at your own pace. I want you to enjoy drawing and not feel frustrated. And drawing is a nice quiet time. Put some music on, chill out, relax. You know, you can go sit in the woods with a sketch pad. You can find a quiet place, and it's just kind of like reading a book. It's just you and your paper. All right, so, and I'm looking outside the window and it's snowing time, so it's snowing and I don't have to shovel, so I'm going to sit and draw a cannon for you. All right, so here we go. Now, I said cannon. Now, the cannon is not like a gun cannon. It's like cannon. A gun cannon has two ends. Okay, so what it is this was a formula that was derived or started by the Greeks. The Greeks were very smart mathematicians. They were brilliant in the arts and theater and libraries. I mean, the Greeks are great historians. They're amazing culture. All right, so but they used the Canon to make sculptures and to try to figure out what the ideal or the average human was in measurements. Okay, so they're trying to do it in a scientific term. So I'm going to teach you a simple way to make a symmetrical head. All right, so I'm going to start by drawing a rectangle. All right, well, that doesn't look like my head, Mr. Storro. No, it doesn't look like a head. So don't worry about it. So just draw a rectangle and try to make the sides relatively even. All right. Now we're not going to stretch it out, so don't worry if it doesn't look exactly like it's just going to be working on the Canon. Now the Canon, they used a tool, and this is the tool right here. These are called calipers. What they would do is they would take these calipers and they would measure you. All right. See, they go in and out. And that screw would stay there and it would fix that dimension. So they would go to one person and they would measure that one person, and then go to the other and they would measure the next person. And they would take all these measurements down and then take an average to figure out exactly how people come together as one. So, so you use this Canon as a beginning to a portrait. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to divide our rectangle down the middle. Now it's symmetrical. They're somewhat close, not exactly, but that's okay. This is just a sketch. If I was going to take a ruler and measure it, but I'm not worried about that right now. So, and I have extra lines, so if you have extra lines, that's fine. Don't erase your extra lines. Keep on drawing. That's something to do at the end. Racing is working in backwards. It slows you down. Move forward. Now the eyes. The eyes are roughly in the middle of the head. Now, roughly means this is exactly the middle. They're above the middle. So, and then I'm going to go ahead and put a line going across. Now, one of the biggest mistakes is people don't do this when they start drawing. They just start drawing the head right away. And I've been teaching for over 25 years now. And one of the common mistakes, and something that I used to do too, is I used to put my eyes way too high. So the eyes would be almost in the forehead, then the eyes would be, and make a hot dog hair. So you don't want to do that. You want to keep your eyes, do the cannon first. I know it seems like extra work, but I'm telling you, in the long run, it is so worthwhile. Okay, now below that, in between the eyes and the chin, this is the bottom of the chin, is the nose. So you're going to make a nose. So put a little line for the nose, how wide you want your nose to be. All right, don't get crazy. You don't want to go all the way across. And then the mouth. I'm going to put a line in between the nose and the chin is the mouth. So I'm going to put it there. Now it's not exactly in the middle. It's a little bit higher. So I'm going to put it right there. All right. Now then here, in between this space and here is your pupil. All right. Now what they discovered too was the head, right, is roughly 5 eyes wide. So if this is my eye, and the eye, you've heard the expression, my eyeball. So the eye is kind of shaped like a sphere. All right. So there's one sphere, and there's another sphere here. So what they say is the head is approximately 5 eyes wide. Now you can see that by those are approximately 5 eyes wide. So again, not exactly because I'm not measuring, but that's pretty close. There's a little bit too much space there. So, I mean, this is where you have to look at proportions and look at measurements and shapes. Now, we're going to take the head and we're going to knock off the corners at the top. Okay, knock off the corners. Now you see this triangle right here. Try to make the same triangle on the other side. All right, and then round, put a crown on your head, going across, make a crown. Okay, small arc. Now don't worry about making a lot of lines. We're going to lose some of these later on, and we're going to probably thin our head out too. Okay, now we're going to come down, and the head is going to come over here. It's wider here, and then it gets a little bit thinner. All right, now the head is basically a ball, the skull. All right, and then it comes down and over. Now what I want to do is I want to look at this space here, and I want to look at the space over here. I want to make sure that space is relatively the same from here to here, because that's going to help you with my proportions. Okay, now the head doesn't bulge out like this. The head actually comes in where your temple is, and then it comes back out again. So it comes in and then out. Then you have your cheekbones that are someplace over here. Again, all these are measurements, and then your chin comes here. So that is basically a cannon. Okay, now if you're looking to see where your ears start, a lot of times I see people do this. I mean, put little tiny ears, or they put ears that are sticking way out here. All right, the ears start roughly where the eyebrows are. So if this is your pupil, all right, and your eyelid is over here and your eyebrow is up here, so this is where your ear starts, and it ends close to where the nose is. So your ear needs to fit someplace in here. Now that's where you're going to look at the person you're drawing. You're going to say, okay, whereabouts does their ear start? Kind of curls up, and look at the shape. Now ears, believe it or not, are really difficult. And one advantage to drawing girls is I always ask them to put their hair down, because then I don't have to draw their ears. Because a girl with their hair pulled back is very difficult to draw hair pulled back. Because the thing about drawing girls is you don't want to make them too hard. You don't want to put a lot of lines when you're drawing a girl. Less lines, because it makes them look more masculine, more like a boy. So you want to try to keep less lines for a girl and a few more lines for a boy. But if you're trying to make a young boy, you want to, again, you don't want to put too many lines, because he's going to look wrinkly. Okay, so the corners of the nose, that is an indication of where the corner of the eye is. Okay, you can see that circle there. All right, corners of the mouth, that is a rough indication of where the pupils are. So you use all these measurements in your cannon to check the face that you're drawing, to make sure that it's accurate on your paper. All right. Now, I like the rectangle technique only because it helps me with the shape of my head, making it more symmetrical rather than in sitting there and trying to draw an oval. All right. And I see a lot of people doing that. They do it, and you know, I'm decent at it, but I mean, doing the square is so much easier, or the rectangle is so much easier than coming in and trying. Oh, you could do the circle, and you can do this, and you can have the chin, the V on the bottom. There's a lot of different ways. Everybody has their own way of doing things. So what works for you, this works for me. Now, when you draw a head, one of the biggest mistakes, another mistake I've seen too, very common, is the neck. Believe it or not, babies, their necks are pretty thin. So if I was going to draw a baby, I mean, yeah, the neck would be rather thin, all right? That's why you see babies can't hold their head up. They look like bobbleheads, all right? So their neck hasn't developed up there. Eventually, their neck gets strong enough to hold that big bobblehead up, okay? But as you get older, your neck gets bigger. Now, your neck is almost, or roughly, close to as wide as your head, all right? Now, your neck doesn't look like a 2x4, a piece of wood straight up and down. It's kind of tapered like a tree to support that heavy weight. Now, the question of the day for you is, I want you to go online, type up how much does a average head weigh, and then send it to me. I'm curious to see if you are interested, as I was, to find out how much a head weighs. I know how much a head weighs, but you need to find out. So, and then you're going to be very surprised how much a head weighs. And so, then your neck comes to a taper, all right, into your traps. All right, so there's a whole thing that you can do for a study of anatomy. Now, when you go to college, and you're all going to go to college, you're going to learn a lot of these canons, and you're going to learn some of these formulas, and you're going to learn to draw people. That's part of taking everybody has to take an art class in college. So more advanced classes get into this. You know, your drawing 2 and 3, you'll get into this, but but if you like to draw, this is the best way for you to get better at drawing. Okay, so I have my Canon, and again, once I get my Canon in there, and I can come in and I can start putting in some I grabbed a different pencil. I'm just grabbing something that's darker, all right, so I can show you my lines. I'm going to come in here and then just harden up these lines a little bit, and then I'll erase what I don't want. Again, when you draw with a purpose. Don't worry about making mistakes. It doesn't make any sense to worry about making mistakes. Okay, so again, the thing that really helped me when drawing faces was not to worry so much about all the small details. Okay, so you can come in here and gradually build on the face, and then you can add more details as you go. But noses particularly gave me a lot of trouble, and one of my teachers told me, he goes, you know, you're looking at a nose as being a nose. Simplify the nose into shapes, and then if you think of the nose as a shape, and then you think of it as curves and ovals, all right, and rectangles, the nose comes together a lot easier than it does if you just stop thinking, oh, it doesn't look like a nose. Okay, so I've seen a lot of noses that look like this. I've seen noses that look like this. All right, those are great for cartoons, but if you're trying to draw a realistic nose, there's a lot of study involved. Again, get a mirror and draw your own face in the mirror, because artists, I mean, Van Gogh, I think he painted over almost 40 portraits of himself. And same thing with Rembrandt. He painted close to 40 or 50 portraits of himself too. It was almost like a timeline of himself, because you don't have to pay for yourself to be a model. You're there. All right, and then again, it's a learning experience. So now that we have this Canon, I'm going to take and show you how to extrapolate and add more to it. All right, so what I did here is I changed the shape of my rectangles. You can see this one is kind of a square, not a rectangle. This is a rectangle. Okay, and then I came in and I did my Canon. I divided all these up equally. This is kind of a wider square. This is not a square at all. This was a triangle. This was a rhombus or a diamond. This was a very long, elongated face. I was really excited about this because he looks very alienish, and I wanted to work on him some more and add some more. This, you can see my proportion is incorrect here. This cheek needs to be brought over here. I committed it a little bit too early. So, but that's something that I can fix, and guess what? I will fix it, and I'll work on it some more, and I may even over sketch it or do another one. So, until I'm happy. So, you can draw your shapes, whatever shapes you want to. Put in your cannons. I'm telling you, it's really helps. Now again, I did all of these in a normal cannon, half and half. Okay, and then these are other shapes, and then I started adding color to them. I mean, this one has complementary colors, red and green. And I was thinking about my light source when I was making this. Okay, so I want you can think about shadows and which direction the light is coming from. So that would get less sunlight on this side over here, so I would add some shading, okay, and slowly gradually building, and I can make a human being. All right, so play around with this cannon, and it's kind of fun. Now these are all, like I said, these are all divided in half. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to call this a video. Okay, so here we go. Now say that I'm going to do the same exact shape. Not exactly, but close. All right, I'm going to all divide them. This is always the same. The next is the eye line. This is what we have been doing, the norm above center, but now I can lower it. I can raise it, okay? And the other thing is I can also put it at an angle. So you can play around with that. Then you come in and drop your pupils. That's what you guys are, good pupils. Ha ha, hee hee. All right, and there you go. And then the nose, there's my little dash. Now again, there's a lot of space here. I could make a guy with a really long nose, or I can make him a really short nose with a long chin. That's entirely up to you. I'm going to give him a really short nose. And this guy, I'm going to put his nose at an angle too. Now the mouth. All of them are going to be the same. Don't forget this guy's nose. So I did all of the same shapes. I just varied the eye and the mouth and the cannon, and you can see all of these are different. So all of these could be different characters if you wanted to. Again, ears. So again, it's a great way to make cartoons, because it's not hard, especially when you add the cannon, because it just makes it so much easier. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like for you to send me some sketches. You can add some color to them. If you want to make a bunch of faces in the crowd, that would be kind of cool too. If you want to do something using that cannon that I haven't seen before, I'd love to see it. Okay, I hope you guys are all safe and being helpful and kind. I look forward to seeing you really soon. All right, today's a good day to draw. It's snowing out for me. I'm going to be at it for a little while longer, so I'll see you guys in another video. Take care. Bye.